Hello, Cities Skylines fans. I am Socksway Up, and welcome back to Season 2 of Chillhorn, Episode 3. Last episode, we hit 2 of our milestones. We hit Tiny Town and, well, Worthy Village first, and then Tiny Town, which we unlocked parks and industry areas and park areas, landscaping as well. We also unlocked high schools, so we'll have to take care of some of the needs to start off this episode with that. Maybe add some regular parks in some of the existing neighborhoods. But one of the things I did look at and we talked about in the first episode was I was wondering what the natural resource was, and it was fertile land. And to be honest with you, I couldn't be happier. We are going to expand and redo some of this industry into a farming agricultural area. So we will do that. And I think the first thing we're going to have to do is move some of this. We're going to have to find a new place for the power plant. We'll figure that out in a little bit. But first I wanted to take care of some of this. Not enough workers. I almost freaked out because I feel like I've been dealing with this a lot in my cities lately. We just did a couple episodes of that in Lake Sockside. So we're going to start off. Let's let the game run so we can make more money. We're going to expand, and we're going to start getting close to where we're going to want to design a road out here. But I think we would be safe to extend this out all the way to here for now. And let's go to this one and that one, but not this one. Let's go like that. And then we'll bring a couple roads up through it. We're gonna bring one like so. Kind of like some cul-de-sac type things. Trying to still utilize as much of the space as possible, but not necessarily connecting all the roads. Let's go ahead and make sure we have our water sources for them. Like that. And grab our zoning. Let's use the little paintbrush or the, what does a game call that? The fill tool, and we'll fill all the way up to there. We got a couple spots that we did not satisfy. That'll be okay. We talked about wanting to put the high school close to the elementary school, so let's put it next to it. And then we're gonna go ahead and do what we talked about by zoning some of this as commercial next to the high school. This, I think what we'll do is we'll flip that this way. I think that'll look a lot better. And we have this area over here, still not zoned. I'm trying to utilize all the space before we move on completely. So not enough workers in a lot of these commercial areas. That's going to start taking care of itself pretty quickly. Let's take a look at our parks. Let's find some parks that will fit. Let's sneak one on the edge of this neighborhood here. Let's also just throw one right there. Demolished a few houses. That'll be okay because we are expanding. Let's throw one. Let's mix it up. Go to the little carousel. We'll throw that there. Which, now that we look at it, that's a bad use of space. Let's get rid of that road. Let's redo that road, hugging up against the carousel there. And potentially allow another house to come in here. Like that. And we should see our residential need is still kind of slowly getting taken care of. Slowly getting taken care of. What did we forget? We have fishing industry unlocked as well. Let's take a look at this screen. Tiny towns that we just unlocked. So we got the parks. I believe that's it. That's going to be required. We added the high school. We added a few parks. Let's look at our electricity is good right now. Water is good. Trash is going to be fine for a while. Education, we're getting to the point where we're probably going to need another elementary school pretty quick. High school capacity is going to be fine. Traffic, we're doing fine. Noise isn't that bad. Our residential should be okay with that. We got enough healthcare to take care of it. Death care still not unlocked, right? It is not. Okay. So that means the next thing we could do, we could finish off some of these roads. Before we started this episode, I was kind of taking a peek at what we would want to do here. Let's kind of slip a road in like that. And we're going to have some commercial that splits the difference between the residential area and the industry area. Pollution isn't going to be that big of a deal since we're going to turn this into agriculture. but I was worried about that, and that's why we designed it that way originally. We'll see. It's coming along nice. We're going to let this run. We do have an industry demand popping up, which is to our favor. I'm going to give this a little thought about how I want to design this, and then we'll get going with this industry area. We did some thinking while I had the game pause, or while I had recording pause, and we have an electricity issue. Ooh, we're getting close. Let's actually, before we explain what we did, let's go to the budget. Let's kick up electricity, because I don't want to spend that much money on adding another building yet. Okay, that's going to cover us for now. We hit Boomtown. Very nice. What is that? What do we have to take care of? Let's take a look first. We can do recycling. We get the highways that open up, which is really nice. And water heating. Pretty cool. Death care as well. Okay, so we're going to take care of those, then we'll get to the industry area. But what we did while I had the camera pause was I added a landfill over here, and I moved some of the services. I moved the firehouse, I moved the coal power plants, and I added an extra landfill and emptied this one. We emptied it because we're going to get rid of it. And then we're going to need to fix our electricity. Pull that here. Is that going to touch? Is that going to be that picky? Oh no, what are we going to do there? That did touch. Okay, it's just not showing that it touched. Okay, so we can get rid of that one. So, like I was saying, we went ahead and did that so we could move the required services, and now we just have the generic the generic game industry. So, before we do the death care, let's go ahead and start zoning this. We'll have to extend that when we buy the next tile. Ooh, we might buy it just because of that now. We'll see. We'll see. So we're going to do that. We're going to click on this and go to the districts tab here and go on to the industrial specialties. We're going to find agriculture and we're going to touch it there. We're going to click on there. These buildings should slowly start changing into farm style buildings for default industry. We're going to redo some of the road layout and start building some farms, but we're going to let that kind of take care of itself. Let's run the game at ×3 while that happens. Now let's go over here to our residential area and start thinking about our death care. So, looks like we have a nice chunk of land set aside here that we were going to do commercial on, but is a nice mixed use there. We also have elder care that we could throw down here as well. And we're running out of money. This is the time where I think I will take out a loan. We don't have enough. I forgot we already had the loan. Let's take this one out. And let's keep playing. Industry area is going to cost a lot of money, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I was taking a peek at that. So let's look at our budget. Let's make sure we don't mess up too much. I think we're okay. New building. It's telling me about a high school. Capacity's fine. Elementary school. While we have money, let's grab this elementary school, add it to that end of the neighborhood there. That'll take care of that. And we are going to let the game run and accumulate a little bit of cash and think about, hopefully things don't pop up and I get interrupted again, but think about how we want to start building this this industries DLC area. All right, enough thinking. I think it's time to start planning this out. We're going to go back to dirt roads, and we might leave some of these as dirt road because of the type of industry that it is. I personally think that it's pretty cool to have these dirt roads for farming areas. And one of the things that's kind of tough about this is we're going to want to extend it out. So we're going to go back to our districts screen, our districts tab. We're going to click on, what is this tab called? District painting tools. Then we're going to go to the paint industry area, and we're going to grab a good chunk of this. We're not going to zone all of it. I wish we could highlight that even though we don't own it yet, but we're going to go ahead and grab all of this area here, where we're going to first start building out, I guess, our Magnolia district. We're going to keep that name. I like it. So that's going to unlock something in our industrial tab here as we go over to agriculture, or farming industry, as they call it. We're going to start off with a main building. So the main building we are going to put like in this general area. And that initially is going to unlock our small grain silos, small animal pasture, our small crop greenhouse, and our small fruit greenhouse. So let's close that. And let's take a look at, oh, we need electricity. Let's take a look at the size of these. So that's kind of small. So we also look at these little tabs here. We have extractor buildings and we have processing buildings. So this is where we're going to produce food. What's the outcome here? Production rate is, it doesn't actually say. When I click on it. Okay, so this is a small crops greenhouse. Small crops greenhouse can be used to cultivate wheat, potato, corn. Because we're in the winter, so we're gonna have greenhouses, so we're not gonna have enough money, or we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and put one of these down, and let's also put one of the small fruit ones down as well. And then let's go to our pastures, and we'll put one down as well, and we're just gonna take a look at them. So you can see here, this is not producing any pigs yet. We'll just leave it as pigs. It will eventually produce animal product, but it's going to need crops first. And here we can see we are generating crops on both of these as well. So now when we go to our industry DLC tab, we can see our product that we're creating. We're going to want to get it to where we can produce a ton of crops, which then will have us produce a ton of animal product, as well as later on we'll produce a ton of flour. So that's going to be our goals. You can see this is going to cause us to lose money at first. So we got to get this to where our output of the animal products is balanced out correctly. And we want to avoid importing. And we'll see that as we go. It might take a couple episodes to actually get this kind of hammered out. But let's go ahead and do a little bit of a road design here. Take advantage of some of these crop areas. Let's sneak it in about right there. And it is kind of unfortunate. I don't think, let's take a look at this. Some of these other fields that you can unlock are kind of nice, but since we are in the winter, we're going to have to do greenhouses, it looks like. Very cool. I had no idea. Yeah, the sheds are still there, so they're a little bit different because of, we don't have our, or could we change it? Let's see. We cannot change it. They are greenhouses, but this we could change from pigs to cows or something. But let's go with pigs. I kind of like that idea. So it's starting to get crops, so it will start producing. So let's go back to the industry DLC. We want also some storage facilities. So we'll do a small silo. We'll sneak one in there, one there. Kind of nice looking, but we're going to rearrange this to where it looks a little bit better as we have enough money to expand it. And first I'm going to throw this crop right here. And we'll put the fruit one on the edge there. I need some water. And let's go back. Let's buy as many as we can for now of the production of the crops. So let's do 3. Let's do 4. See, we're good on money. And then we probably want a couple more of these buildings. But let's build a different road for those, as we're going to build kind of a supply chain here. Let's sneak this up right behind it, like so. And we'll go back to this, and we'll go 1, 2, and money is an issue. Money is an issue. Let's go, let's see if we can take a loan. Let's take another loan. And go back here. And let's do 3, 4. And move the 1. And then let's take a look at how we're looking. So we are importing a lot. So the reason why we're going to be importing right now is because we're not generating enough crops to keep up with the animal product demand that they need. So that means we probably want to build more of the green ones, the extractor buildings, and slow down on the processing buildings. But also I think the storage could have part of it. Let's do this as empty. We want to keep this empty so that we're not actually importing a lot and causing some money issues. So let's move this over here. We'll put one there, and we'll put one there as well. So these are going to hold crops. Oh, we have an electricity issue. Sneak the electricity right there. The other buildings weren't complaining. That's interesting. So we're going to have plenty of crops in here, and we want to keep that to empty so that we do not do the importing. So they were trying to keep it balanced, keep that at least 50% full. So the city was importing it, which is going to cause us to lose money because we're importing goods and have to pay for them instead of just making our own. As you can see, that's starting to balance out. So I want to keep a look at that as it goes. And then what do we have here? These ones, not enough customers. Yeah, we still have some commercial in there. Right now, I think we might start stripping some of this out and turn it into what's going to be our... I'm losing my words. The warehouses and potentially the factory that we could do with this. There should be a factory that is compatible with just farming, but it might need another industry. I can't remember. We'll check those out when we unlock them as well. But we can see we're slowly starting to get enough crops. We might need to balance this a little bit more. Move that over for looks. And let's go back to farming. This greenhouse, we'll throw one there. We can fit one more. And we'll see how that does with the balance. That should get us pretty close. We'll see in a few. I'm going to let the game run and then we're going to check on it. While I was letting the game run, we did hit level 2 of our industry, which unlocks the flour mill, the bakery, the workers' barracks, the cattle shed, and the small barn. Let's take a look at this tab. We are still importing, so we're going to have to figure that out. I feel like we should be producing enough. I guess this one's still complaining. So potentially if we shut off one of these, let's let the game... Yeah, so doing that instantly solved that. So we have a little bit of an issue with that requiring crops, but maybe that just balanced out itself. You see traffic starting to get a little bit busier because of the industry, but we want it to where this never happens. So they're showing up and they're filling it in just in time, but we want to get it to where that isn't really an issue. So let's look at some of our buildings that unlocked. We have the... Oh, let's go back to this. We didn't unlock anything new here, but we could place some buildings across the street to kind of fill in the extra need. Like that. And I think just for looks, we'll add one of these small barns here, and then we'll set it to empty as well. And then let's go back to it. Our factories are unlocked where we could have a bakery, but that looks like that is going to require everything that we have. Flour looks like the other thing. So let's look at that. We will want to create the flour mill eventually. And that's where I want to use some of this space down in this area. So let's build a road for that. And I think that's going to be the last thing that we do for this episode. Let's go ahead and go about halfway out and down and grab the flour mill. Put that there. So that is going to need the animal product that we were creating. No, it needs crops as well. I'm silly. So that might have been a mistake. So we'll see. We're still importing a little bit. So we're now going to be splitting the difference in our crops from the animals to the flour mill. And the other thing that we could do is start using a cattle shed to start creating cattle shed. That's not what I thought it was. I thought that was what I'm thinking. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I was thinking that was the bakery, but that's fine. We could use that as well. It kind of matches this building. We can put those in here. All these are using crops, and that is going to be somewhat of a problem if we're not producing enough crops. So you can see it's almost balanced there, about 50-50. We'll definitely play around with that, but the demand for residential is getting outrageous. So we're going to end the episode here. We'll get back to our industry in the next episode after we extend some of the residential areas and keep the balance of the demands intact. Thanks for joining. Again, if you're liking this, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Socksway Up, and I'll catch you on the next episode.